beautiful building. You know what would be interesting to see is the number of attendees throughout the years. Is the priesthood, what years did it? Because I know they said that now numbers are they down?
Oh, I was just telling Cameron now that when they ordain every year 4 or 6 or 7 for the diocese.
Wow.
Look at how many we had every year. Every year. They're all writing to me. You know, this is all 1 year.
Wow.
All 1 year. See how many they had at that time?
Is your picture in here? Or are these
No,
graduates?
these are guys that graduated.
Wow.
And now they're going on to the senior seminary. And these fellows here are the policemen. You know, they're each one has one of the dormitories.
Oh.
And they're going to be ordained the last year of their studies. They do it under all the professors here. And yeah. And this guy, this bishop here, Bishop McAuliffe, I used to wheel him around in a wheelchair.
Really?
Yeah.
So do you think that because the numbers, is that why you see more and more priests coming over from other countries?
Yeah, we don't have enough.
That's what it is.
That's why the churches are closing. There's no priests.
I know. All the denominations are feeling
Yeah.
a lull in numbers. It's too bad. So we're on. Okay, I didn't know if you knew.
Did you find it?
Yeah, the battery's dead in that one too.
On mine
okay.
also?
Yeah, we don't need it.
Does the Catholic diocese own this property?
Yeah.
And is this one building, this is it?
Yeah.
So I wonder what
Then they have a building
wow.
for a gymnasium.
Wow, look how big it is. It's beautiful. What
Yeah.
are they doing with all the
I
space
love that
now?
school.
Where
Well,
is it?
now they use it for seminars.
St. Thomas Seminary. They use it for
The
seminars?
seminars, the radio stations, WJMJ.
Oh, is that where they
yeah,
broadcast?
they use you out of there. Yeah.
Is that Uncle Joe? Yes, it is.
They- Yeah. Yeah, he came to visit me.
So what year did you,
44,
you
45.
that's when you went?
Yeah.
So you were how old? You were
I
born in
was
20?
28, 38, 16.
And how does that incorporate with high school?
That's the high school years.
So
I never went to high school.
the seminary also incorporates your high
All
school
the
subjects?
4 years of high school, 2 years of
Wow,
college.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And that was private funding Grandma and Grandpa had to come up with?
Yeah. Well, my Uncle Ben chipped in. Uncle Priest chipped in.
Really?
Yeah.
How many of you boys went?
Me.
That's all?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
Well, it's for vocation for the priesthood. Yeah.
another brother went
No.
and was going to pursue that. Really, Dad? Wow. Wow, look at them all. Oh my goodness. Is that where they're having the thing on May 2nd?
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be good to go
Yeah.
back
Right,
there.
it's gonna be good.
Wow, that's with Grandma in 43. So we could put some of these pictures
Yeah.
in it too. Beautiful.
So what do you want me to do?
16 years of age. You went to high school the first 2 years?
No.
You never went?
No, I never went. I went to St. Mary's. When I graduated from St. Mary's, then I went to St. Thomas.
I thought you went to Meriden High School.
Well, when I left St. Thomas, I went to Meriden High School.
Oh, okay. So you went from St. Mary's right to,
See, and that's what I'm going to talk about here.
okay.
It'll bring me up from in the religious aspect
Yep.
of my life. It'll bring me up from the time I was born. I'll talk about that
Okay.
whenever you want to get started.
It's on.
It's on?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, you people asked me to do some commentary about my life. It's very difficult for me. It'd take me about 4 or 5 days, 24 hours in each day to be able to talk about my whole book of life.
I know.
So what I'll attempt to do is just give you one chapter. There are a lot of chapters, and some chapters would be open. I would open for discussion. Other chapters I would leave closed.
Absolutely.
And but one chapter of my life is on the religious aspect of where my family started from. I was born in February 12, 1928. Now, by the time I was 8 years of age, at 8 years of age, I used to walk from Bellevue Street to Mount Carmel Church, which is 2 miles, to be an altar boy. And the altar boys in our family were myself, Richard, and Victor, and Vito. And so my closeness to the church started when I was about 8 years of age. And by the time I started, I went to a parochial school. I was going to Lincoln Junior High School. We had an incident that happened at Lincoln, and my dad recommended I get out of Lincoln Junior High School and go to a Catholic school.
Mm-hmm.
So I, in St. Mary's School, only had a 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And so that's where I went. I graduated from St. Mary's School. And between 8 and in St. Mary's School, I was affiliated with the church quite a bit. I served the masses for weddings, for funerals, and I enjoyed being with the priests. I helped to clean the altars and different things, and I thought I had a religious vocation. So my parents sent me to St. Thomas Seminary. And how one little incident will change your whole life. Now at St. Thomas Seminary, you gotta picture this, we had a study hall period. And, well, let me go back. A lot of things at St. Thomas Seminary that I enjoyed were the camaraderie of all the guys. It was a great school, a lot of sports. And we look forward to, every week I look forward to Thursday afternoons where I would walk into Bloomfield, get a nice chocolate sundae. Saturdays, you'd sign up if you wanted to work. I mean, we could go to unload Nabisco freight cars and maybe make $2 for the day. Or we'd go to Windsor Locks to pick potatoes. Or we would caddy for the priests who played golf. But if you ended up getting 30 demerits for the week, like being late for class or not doing your homework or misbehaving, you were not allowed to leave the seminary. You lost your privilege for Thursday. So here I am now going into the study hall. We had study hall every evening from 6 o'clock till 7 o'clock. And this one day I had such a laughing jag on
Oh no.
that I could not stop laughing. And Brownie, the guy next to me, wasn't any help. So after the 40 or 50 guys in the study hall room. Everything's quiet, no talking. I'm two rows back from where the prefect is sitting up, monitoring and making sure everybody's quiet. And I got this jag on of snickering.
No.
All of a sudden, bingo, a piece of chalk hits me on the forehead. So, some of the people around me see it and they started laughing. And this young now the prefect is a man who's going to be ordained that year. And he does his last years of study at St. Thomas. And so this prefect here looked at me and said, went like this. Now, I can't stop laughing. I don't know what I was laughing about. But the next thing he comes down off the stuff is, Rocky, 15 demerits. Now, that didn't help matters with the guys around me. They all started snickering. This guy's got a red face on him. He says, Rocky, 30 demerits.
Oh,
That
no.
means Thursday you're in. Well, by the time the class was over with, I was up to 360.
You couldn't stop laughing? Oh, no.
No, it got the whole study hall went in an uproar. This guy here was going to have a heart attack. He grabbed me by the collar. He grabbed Brownie by the collar, marched us down to the office, to the rector, the dean's office. And this guy, Monsignor Griffin, was a really great guy. I liked him very much. He's, okay, Rocky, bend over. So
Oh, wow.
he gave Brownie a stick. He was give him 5 hard whacks, and then it was my turn. Brownie, you bend over, and got 5 hard whacks. Then he put his arm around both of us, and he walked us down the hall. He's, now behave yourself. So I went in there. We went into the classroom, still, with a grin on our face,
Oh,
and
my
everybody
gosh.
in the study hall. Then the bell rang for intermission. At intermission, at that time, my father gave me permission to smoke, and I used to smoke a pipe. And I grabbed my pipe and tobacco, and I'm heading down outside where we have a barrel that you can only smoke it around the barrel. The whole seminary knew what happened at the study hall. And as I'm walking down the path with a couple of buddies of mine, all the guys around the barrel who were smokers, hey, Rocky, we got, we heard all about what happened. Well, I'm thinking about that. Some guys said, geez, Rocky, you're stuck in here for the whole year, 360 demerits. Oh my gosh. Well, I started thinking about that, and I said, well, some guys felt sorry for me, some guys laughed at me. Now, my mother was a very devoted Catholic, and she prayed every night, and she said, God, if he is not going to be a good priest, send him home. Well, in the evening we have evening prayers. So at evening prayer time, I'm thinking about, I'm stuck in here for the whole year. I can't go doing this, I can't go doing that. I could stop talking.
No, it's fine.
And so I thought about it at prayer time, and while they're saying the prayers for the evening, and it's all silent, I'm thinking about, I'm stuck in this whole place for a whole year. No way am I going to do that. Well, when the prayers were over, I usually got up and went to the 2 side altars. The Blessed Mother was here in St. Joseph's, and I said a prayer. I'll never forget that. I said a prayer to Our Lady, and I said a prayer to St. Joseph, and then I knelt on the marble stairs, And I faced, and now by this time the chapel is almost empty. And I said goodbye to Jesus, I'm leaving here. And I went downstairs to the telephone and I called my mother. I said, Ma, tell Dad to come here and pick me up tomorrow. And so I did, and my mother said, well, I prayed to God that if you weren't going to be a good priest, to send you home, and here you are. So about 4 months later, 5 months later, my father says to me, jump in the car. So I get in the car as an obedient son. The next thing I know, I'm down in New Haven at the United States Army recruiting office.
Oh boy.
And there, now I'm registered to go into the Army. The next thing I know, I'm down at Fort Knox, Kentucky. I'm into tank training in the artillery. The next thing I know, I'm on a ship, seasick as a son of a gun, heading for Japan. And I'm there for a year and a half.
At what age now?
I'm not quite set. I'm about 18 years of age.
Oh my gosh.
So after Japan, I come back home. I meet your mother. We have 6 lovely children, and as time's going on, I meet Sister Maria is now stationed down in North Haven, and she hooks me up with this guy from India, a young priest from India who is going around to different churches, got permission to solicit funds. So he needed a chauffeur. So I used to chauffeur him around all over Connecticut on weekends, up to Massachusetts, up to Rhode Island, into Pennsylvania. And his name was Father Francis, and we became very good friends. And incidentally, he is now the Pope's ambassador to the United Nations. He's an archbishop.
Wow.
So along that time, things weren't going well for me in my life, and my life changed, and my marriage ended, and I had an urge that I wanted to enter a monastery and have a prayerful life. And Father Francis said to me, Gerry, forget about it. He said, at your age, what you ought to do is just keep working and send money to the seminary and sponsor a young man he'll be doing God's work a lot longer than you will. So after 25 years, here it was, I sponsored him in the seminary, and I have like 6 priests that were ordained because of my sponsorship.
Wow.
So the end of the chapter is, because a piece of chalk hit me in the forehead and 360 demerits, my whole life changed.
Right.
Right, and that's the end of the story.
Oh, that's great. That is great.
That's good.
Wow. You want me to get it?
No, you can leave it on. I'll edit it later.
So 30 demerits kept you at the seminary for the weekend.
Right.
But you accumulated in all that laughing 300 and something. So
Right.
that meant you were stuck there 10 weekends, 12 weekends, whatever.
Right.
And that's what got you thinking, I need to change.
Right.
I can't do it.
Right.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, I love seminary life. I mean, I liked it there. And I had a lot of good friends and everything else.
Mhm.
And, you know. But to get stuck in there
Right.
and miss all these extra things. I mean, sometimes on a weekend, half a dozen of us would take a bus into Hartford and walk around and see what Hartford looked like.
Mhm.
You know, and for Uncle Priest used to send me $5 every once in a while. My Uncle Ben used to send me a couple of bucks.
Nice.
Uh,
So they sponsored you in a way.
yeah, different priests.
Mhm.
Father Salemi whenever he went up there, he'd hand me a $5 bill, $10, and so I always had a few dollars to be able to do some of the things, and I liked working, and I always signed up to do something on the weekend, and they all already had what they called day hops. They had guys at seminarians that never stayed at the seminary, but they would get buses coming in the morning, and they would go back in the afternoon and go home.
Oh, okay.
Like
They
regular
reside
students.
there, yep.
But for us who were there for the whole week, you know, it was things we looked forward to doing.
Mm-hmm.
So
And you can't recall what made you laugh.
I don't know.
See?
You ever get a lot?
Maybe it was a
You
little bit of
ever
a
have
sign.
something like that happen? to
Oh,
you?
yeah.
And you don't know, you just can't stop laughing. You know, it wasn't a laugh, it was a snicker or something. And then this guy Brownie next to me, well, he was doing the same thing, and he was egging me on, and you know, and the fella who was the guy that gave him 360 demerits
Mm-hmm.
was Father O'Connor. And Father O'Connor, when he became ordained, he was given the smallest church in the state of Connecticut, in South Meriden.
Really?
Right.
Which one is that? On Hanover?
Yeah, right across from the Four Corners restaurant. There was a little wooden
Oh, wow.
church.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you ever go see him?
No, but I saw him a lot after that. He became an alcoholic.
Oh, no kidding.
And they always went to the South Meriden house
Wow.
to have dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And on Friday nights, there was half smashed,
Wow.
and the poor guy died young. He died when he was only in his 40s,
Jeez.
you know. And I prayed for him for a long time. He changed my whole life.
Yeah, he did. You should have had a piece
Without
of
that
chocolate.
without that chalk in my head, you wouldn't be around.
Right.
Right?
Look at that. That's true. How all that. Yep.
Isn't that something?
Yep.
How one little incident will change your whole life,
Mm-hmm.
and that happens in different things in life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all of a sudden another road turns.
Yep. And you passed on the importance of theology in the family. You just came from church, or Luke's making his confirmation, right? We just came from church. I mean, I think
That's
it's
good.
still an important thing to bring up in your family.
Yeah.
That one place you go to at least once a week to say thank you for all you've got. I mean, that's what I wanted to instill in our kids.
Yeah.
You're so blessed with so many things, so you can take an hour and keep the Sabbath holy once a week, you know?
I do that every day.
Mm-hmm.
I just every day I have my ritual of things I want to thank God for, petitions that I have, my patron saint is Saint Sebastian, and in fact, my mother said to me, when I was 14 months old, I was carrying a little bench, and I picked up a peanut off the floor and had it in my mouth and tripped over the bench, and the peanut got lodged in my lung. And I started coughing, and everybody, this is based on my mother's talking to me, telling me what happened, that they were treating me for an asthma attack. And next thing you know, I developed a fever, and they were treating me. Then they brought me to the hospital because my temperature was going up, and I was like choking, and they were treating me for a pneumonia. And my father and my uncle Gerry, who was a very who was a very good friend of my dad. It was like a favorite brother.
Mhm.
That's who I'm named after, Uncle Gerry. And they took me, put me on my dad spoke to my Uncle Ben, who was studying to be a doctor in Jefferson Hospital in Philadelphia. And my Uncle Ben said, you know, if he's having problems breathing and coughing, we're having a world's famous respiratory doctor at our hospital, so bring him up here. So my Uncle Gerry and my dad put me on a pillow and brought me on the train to Philadelphia.
Didn't they have to sneak you out?
Yeah.
The hospital wouldn't release you?
The hospital wouldn't release me.
They had to get you?
And yeah, so my dad and my uncle snuck me out of the hospital, put me on a pillow, and brought me to Philadelphia. Anyway, when they cut my throat open, I didn't even know I had a scar until I started shaving.
Wow.
And out came the peanut. You know, they removed the peanut from the lung, and then I was okay. And so what happened in that incident is that, in the meantime, my brother Joe and my brother Frank were dropped off at Middletown to stay with my Aunt Conchie and my mother. And so my father came back, and my mother constantly prayed to Saint Sebastian for my, perform a miracle. There it was. And my dad says, well, where's Frank? Well, in the meantime, while I was being operated on, there's a bridge on Pearl Street in Middletown, and he's climbed up on the railing of the bridge, had a lollipop in his mouth, and a kid wanted it, and he pushed Frank, and Frank fell over the bridge, fell on the railroad tracks and cracked his head, and wound up in the hospital with a fractured skull. And this newspaper article, and made by the Record Journal on April 29th, 1929, told the whole story.
Oh, both of you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Did I ever send you a copy of it? I have a copy. And anyway, because of that, and Saint Sebastian, and then when I got well, I came back home, and it became the Feast of Saint Sebastian. Well, you know, at the end, at that feast time, they raffle off pizzas, wine. Well, they threw me up on the porch, is what my mother told me. My mother made a velvet outfit of me, and they started raffling off my clothes.
Oh my God.
They raffled off my pants, my underwear, my socks, my shoes, and there I was,
'Cause you were a
making my
miracle.
first showing in life, a naked guy.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, and that's what my mother told me. They made a lot of money, and so as life went on, I should tell him, now Gerry, in 1987, before you die, you have to go to Italy and thank Saint Sebastian for the miracle. And so, at the same time, Father Francis, as I went to go there, and Father Francis, and telling Father Francis about what my feelings were about having a monastic life, and that's when Father Francis talked to me and he said, no, this is what you want to do. So since 1987, that's when I started sponsoring for the seminary.
Wow.
And that's when I went to St. Sebastian, and then that's the first time I was a Nuri.
Yeah.
And I did it,
Sicily?
and that's when, that's another whole story, and how I met Lucy and Ottavio, because I wanted to run as a Nuri. My mother said, this is what you got to do, and this, I want you to participate in the Feast of Saint Sebastian. And that's the first week of May. And
Wow.
so that's another whole story, and how I met these people. And all because of a chalk on the head and
Right?
360
It just
demerits,
goes,
right?
yeah.
What happens in your whole life, it changes everything. Yeah.
That's
So,
amazing.
my mouth is dry and
Yes,
I'm not gonna
would
talk
you like-
anymore.
Some water? Okay, thank you.
You leave it on, I'll just edit things later.
So, is that interesting?
That's a great story.
And all these guys,
Wow. We were talking about how the numbers of guys going in the priesthood is diminishing. And that's the class he was in, and now they're down to, he said, 4 or 5. What, a year, Dad? 4 or 5 a year they're ordaining only? A class?
now,
Guys? Yep,
Pushing that church too.
yeah, they are.
Yeah, there's nobody.
and most all of these guys signed my books, became ordained.
I have friends, at least 3 that have churches that have priests that, mm-mm.
Can't recruit.
No.
You know? Unbelievable.
And when I went back to talk to my prefect, I just called my mother, I'm leaving the seminary.
Yeah.
He said, no, you're not leaving the seminary, Rocky. You're not. Father O'Keefe.
Was it a sleepover?
No, Rocky, you're not leaving the seminary. I said, yeah, I'm leaving tomorrow morning. My father's picking me up. He said, you can't do that. You're not going to leave the seminary. My father's picking me up tomorrow morning.
I texted him, he wasn't even.
And
Yeah, it was confident.
we both knelt down. He knelt down and he cried. He says, someday you're going to give me you're going to give me an ordination of yourself. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. Amazing.
That's wild. Well, you learned one way or another it wasn't for you, right?
Hey, they say many are called but few are chosen.
Yeah.
I wasn't one of the chosen ones.
Hey, that's perfectly all right.
And I think my mother maybe prayed for me to come home.
Yeah. I think you may be right.
But she was a great woman.
Yeah.
She's a very, very holy person.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
This is the spring one. They had a fall one in October.
but she had a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine she was a widow for 45 years.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You guys want to grab lunch or?
Yeah.
What do you
Hey,
feel
Dad,
like
is this your
doing?
cowboy lighter?
Huh?
Is this your cowboy lighter?
Yeah.
Nice.
You want to go to
Why not?
sit or should I?
No, I know what you meant.
I'm good, I don't
Yeah,
need it.
What do you feel like doing?
Huh?
It's 1
The
o'clock.
best stories are when he's just.
Oh, I know.
Oh, you want to check it out?
Hey, Dad, you got a password on your computer or no? He wants to just look something up.
What's that?
Do you need a password for your computer?
Yeah.
Here, let Grandpa log on and then I'll show you real quick.
We still go to Eliano's?
Yeah, we
I was
can.
trying to think of.
Does he
Eliano's
wanna
would
go?
be good.
Yeah. You guys hungry? You gonna join us for a bite, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Get a little.
Where's Lou?
Michael, come film me. Oh, you're looking at something. Wait, until that's ready, come here. Film me and tell me everything. All right,
Oh,
so,
really?
Yep,
That's good.
so I tried to call him.
what's going on with the interest in music? What are you
What time do you
thinking?
come home?
Oh,
11:30.